Carrie. Welcome to the TrueNorth emPower program energy conservation video. Would you like to cut your heating and energy costs in half? It's easy, just install a programmable thermostat, switch to CFL light bulbs, turn the heat setting down on your hot water tank, use smart power strips, put insulating plastic up on your windows in the winter months, use low flow shower heads, change your furnace filter 4 times a year, install foam insulation behind your outlets and plugs, let food cool before putting into the fridge or freezer, and keep them both full but not stuffed. Turn the lights off when you leave a room. Use cold water when doing laundry. Make sure you use the right sized pots for burners on your stove. Keep the lint trap of your dryer clean and dry clothes in consecutive loads. And wrap your hot water tank in an insulating blanket. A little overwhelming, isn't it? Well, relax. I'm here to make it easier for you. First of all, let's take a look at why conserving energy is so important to your household budget. An average household in the highest 20% of income, or a typical upper middle class household, only spends about 3% of their total annual expenditures on heating and energy, while a typical lower income household spends twice that much. There are many reasons for this, but the biggest one is simply that the homes of the average lower income family are typically older and or not as energy efficient as those of an upper middle class family. If you're watching this video, that means you probably fall somewhere within the second category. And that means your house is leaking financial resources all over the place. That's the bad news. The good news is there's lots of things that you can do to make a difference. Small changes can add up to big savings for you. I'm in the home of Andy and Laura. Let's take a look at the kit they received from TrueNorth. There's a basic kit and an advanced kit, so you may or may not have everything in your kit that they do, but that's okay, because even if you didn't get some of these items in your kit, they're all pretty affordable. First up, CFL light bulbs. Compact fluorescent light bulbs are an easy way to save money. They cost a little bit more to buy up front, but they use 75% less energy than standard bulbs. And they last about 5 times as long, so in the long run the savings really add up. To get the most out of your CFLs, remember these tips. Be sure to screw them in by holding the ballast, the white plastic part, not the glass tubing. You'll maximize the lifetime and effectiveness of your CFLs by keeping them on for 15 minutes or more at a time, so avoid turning them on and off quickly. Only use bulbs labeled as 3-way on a 3-way socket, and those labeled as dimmable on dimmer switches. Next, smart power strips. Have you ever noticed that even after you turn off your TV or computer, there are still glowing little eyes staring back at you in the dark? All those things are little energy vampires, unnecessarily draining power and costing you money. Traditional power strips are an affordable way to expand the number of electrical outlets in your home, but their convenience can encourage you to leave electronics plugged in all the time, and many devices keep drawing power even when you're not using them. Printers, DVD players, and computers and modern TVs are all examples of products with standby modes that make them convenient to use but suck significant power on the sly. This so-called phantom power drain costs you money, wastes electricity, and ups your carbon output to boot. Smart power strips, on the other hand, work to reduce your power usage by shutting down power to products that go into standby mode. Doing so may save you some serious cash. Statistics vary, but experts say standby power consumption in an average home ranges from 5 to 10% of your total household energy consumption. Our research says these little things can save you up to $145 a year in electricity costs. This little guy is a low-flow shower head. A typical person can use up to 25 gallons of water for every shower, and that water has to be heated using electricity or gas and pumped using electricity. A low-flow shower head will use about 50 to 70% less water than a traditional shower head. They're easy to install, usually cost less than $10, and often even come with a little pause button to stop the flow of water while you lather up, if you're really that serious about saving water and energy. To install one of these, all you typically need is an adjustable wrench and some plumber's tape. Simply remove the old shower head using the wrench. Remember, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, or clockwise to tighten and counterclockwise to loosen. Remove any old plumber's tape. Wipe it off with a rag. Wrap 1 layer of new plumber's tape on the threaded portion of the pipe, and then screw on the new low-flow shower head. Tighten by hand first, and then use the wrench to get it nice and snug. Turn the water on to check for leaks and then tighten a little more if you have to. The last thing you may have in your kit is an insulating plastic wrap for your windows. These are great. They only cost a few dollars each, and they're available at almost any hardware store. According to the U.S. Department of Energy, drafts can waste 5 to 30% of your energy use. High-efficiency double and triple pane windows work by trapping a layer of air between each layer of glass, and this air works as insulation. Having the area around your windows properly insulated and sealed also keeps heat in the winter and cool air in the summer. If you have an older house with older windows, this means money is simply leaking out through the cracks. Adding a layer of sealed plastic to the inside of windows creates a buffer against drafts, and the extra still airspace can give a nice boost to your home's ability to hold heat. And don't worry, properly installed, window plastic is essentially invisible. Let's take a look at how easy it is to install. The only tools you'll need is a hair dryer to tighten the plastic once it's up, and possibly a pair of scissors to cut to size. First, clean and dry surface to be taped. Apply tape to the window, tacky side down, leaving the film on the front. Unfold the plastic and cut to the size of the window. Remove the film off the tape. Carefully press the plastic to the tape. Remove large wrinkles by detaching and repositioning the plastic. Press firmly into place using fingertips. Using the high heat setting on a hairdryer, hold about 1/4 inch from the surface and blow hot air onto the plastic to tighten it up. Lastly, trim excess with scissors. Next, let's take a look at some more helpful and easy tips on saving money on your heat and energy expenses. Let's start with electricity. We've already talked about CFLs and smart power strips. Now let's move to the kitchen. There's a lot more you can do here to save money. When using your stovetop, always try to use the right size pot for the burner. For example, a 6-inch pot on an 8-inch burner wastes over 40% of the heat generated. And when you're using the oven, if you open the door to check on food, you'll lose between 25 and 75 degrees of heat. Instead, just use the light and look through the glass door. Let's move on over to the refrigerator and freezer. The optimal temperature settings for safety and efficiency are between 37 and 40 degrees for the fridge and 5 degrees for the freezer. Those are both in Fahrenheit. To check your refrigerator's temperature, set a thermometer in a glass of water in the center of the appliance. Read the thermometer after 24 hours. For a freezer, place a thermometer in between packages. Again, read the thermometer after 24 hours. Keeping your refrigerator full, but not stuffed, actually helps increase energy efficiency because there is less air to cool when space is taken up. Fill in empty space with gallon jugs of water. Be careful not to overfill though. Overfilling your refrigerator can hinder air circulation in the appliance. Also, keep liquids covered and make sure to wrap foods when they are stored in the refrigerator. Not only will uncovered foods dry out and ruin the taste, but the moisture that is released causes the refrigerator's compressor to work harder. And always make sure to let hot foods fully cool off before putting them in the fridge or freezer. Condenser coils remove heat from inside your refrigerator and freezer. Make sure they're at least 2 inches from the wall and clean them twice a year. Clean condenser coils mean an efficient refrigerator and freezer. If you have a dishwasher, only run it when you have a full load. The same thing goes for washing clothes. Full but not overstuffed loads are the most efficient. Just about all modern detergents work well in cold water, and doing so will save you between $30 and $40 a year. Weather permitted, dry your clothes outside on a line. That's free. But when you do use your dryer, doing consecutive loads is most efficient, so the dryer doesn't have time to cool down between loads and then have to heat back up. Also, simply cleaning out your lint trap before every load can save about $35 a year. In regards to your hot water and your hot water tank, here are a couple quick and easy tips. Set the temperature at 125 degrees. When set too high at say 140 degrees, a hot water heater can waste anywhere from $35 to $60 annually in standby heat loss and more than $400 in in-demand loss. Also, if your tank has an insulating R value of less than 24, an insulated hot water tank blanket is a great idea. If you don't know the R value of your hot water tank, just carefully touch it. If it feels warm to the touch, it needs additional insulation. A hot water tank blanket could reduce standby heat losses by 25 to 45% and save you between 4 and 9% in overall water heating costs. You can find pre-cut insulating blankets at most larger home improvement stores for around $20, and it should easily pay for itself in about a year. Moving on to heating and cooling, simply replacing your furnace filter once a quarter will save you 5% on heating and cooling costs. And it's easy to do. There are only a handful of standard size filters, so just check to see what size you need. You can usually find them at most hardware stores. If you have an odd size filter, you might have to check at one of the larger home improvement stores. Just pull out the old filter, taking care to note which way the airflow moves, and install the new one with the airflow arrow pointing the right way. It's also a good idea to use a marker to write the date of installation right on the filter, just to keep track of when the next one is needed. A programmable thermostat allows you to program your furnace to automatically turn on before you get up, back down when you go to work, up again before you get home from work, and then back down when you go to bed. These will save you 10 to 20% on your heating and cooling costs, and you'll most likely recover your initial investment within the first year alone. Laura installed this one herself for less than $30. Also, for every degree you lower the heat setting in the winter or raise the cooling setting in the summer, you will save 3%. So if you normally heat your home to 70 degrees in the winter and cool it to 73 in the summer, you can save 12% by simply lowering your heat set point to 68 and raising your cooling set point to 75. Just wear a sweater when it's cold and t-shirts when it's hot. Open the blinds or curtains of windows to let in natural light during the day, and you won't have to use electric lights. And by opening the curtains or blinds on south-facing windows, you can take advantage of free solar gain heat. Keep furniture, carpeting, and curtains from blocking heat registers and air return ducts. One last thing you can do is to insulate all the outlets and switches on the exterior walls of your house. These insulating strips are cut the same size as an outlet cover and even have the outlet holes cut out for you. Not only are these strips an excellent air barrier, but they're also a breeze to install. It's as easy as removing the outlet cover, installing the strip, and putting the cover back on. So don't let the cold air drift into your home through one of these outside wall outlet openings. Insulate them. We've covered a lot today, and while there's no silver bullet when it comes to energy conservation, I think we've shown that a lot of small changes can add up to substantial savings for you. Don't get overwhelmed. You don't have to do everything, and you sure don't have to do everything today. Just keep chipping away at it. You can do it. In your kit, there should also be some great budgeting resources for you to look over. Setting a realistic budget is half the battle. Keeping it is the other half. I also want to encourage you to visit the TrueNorth website for more information. We plan on having a series of short videos available there on budgeting and maybe even some more energy saving tips for you. Just go to www.truenorthservices.org and click on the multimedia link to get to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching today. And remember, when it comes to energy conservation, you're empowered.